Hi, it's Gina. I am so excited about today. I am making a porcini mushroom risotto. And why am I so excited? Go ahead, ask, because our good friend Susan asked me on Facebook if I would show her how to make it. Now I get that risotto kind of daunting, might taunt you too. Come on in, I want to show you. With risotto, it's just a matter of steps, and you just follow the steps. There's a lot of them, but nothing difficult. You start, before you do anything, you start with 2½ cups of water at a boil. See that? We're going to turn it off, and you're going to add 7 ounces of dried porcini mushrooms. I believe that's 7 ounces. I'll double check, but I believe it's 7. 20 minutes. And you know, they just come in a package like this size, like fresh herbs come in, and you find them in the mushroom section right above the fresh mushrooms. And so now we're going to put the timer on. You see that? Right off the heat, 20 minutes. And while this is coming, softening up, they're going to just really soften those mushrooms up. And then we're going to chop them up. But as this is just sitting there, hanging out, softening up, we're going to go over to the counter, and I'm going to chop up the fresh mushrooms. I'm using cremini ones along with the porcini ones. You can put in whatever mushrooms you want. Remember, it's your risotto. And then from there, we're actually going to start making the risotto, okay? So our dried mushrooms are still soaking in the hot water to soften them up, and while they're doing that, I'm going to prep the mushrooms. Well, I kind of already started prepping the mushrooms because I figured you didn't want to sit here and watch me prep all these mushrooms. But I did leave a few. First of all, mushrooms, I'm using cremini, not sure how you say it, and you just buy them at the store. You need a pound of these, so rinse them under water, pat them dry, they're clean. Now I'm going to have the camera come in here a little bit, and you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either do slices, okay, you can coarse chop, those are 2 ways, I know I said 1 of 2 ways there, or you can just be real messy about it. See? Like you're like one of those sushi chefs. Like that. It's up to you. However you want your mushrooms chopped, fine. Now we're going to use a shallot. 1 small shallot, see, but I really like shallots, so I'm going to use, I think, 1 small one and 1 little tiny one. So you're going to cut both ends of your shallot off, peel off this skin. Let's see where that shallot is. Look at that. Ooh, I wish you could smell these. They're so good smelling. It's my favorite onion, hands down. And just take it slow. Do them thin. Because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put these in butter. Yum, yay. And we're going to saute them up in our pan. And before we add any mushrooms to it. That's it. We'll do this little one. Isn't he so cute? I don't think I've seen a shallot this little. Just peel off the layers of the onion. Clean off my knife. Ooh, my eyes are starting to water, of course. I swear that's how you know when it's so fresh. Alright, so our shallot is now done. My eyes are washed and watering, you'll see that. And our mushrooms are prepped. Shallot and mushrooms. You'll see that I have some garlic cloves here. We're going to put the garlic cloves, we're going to crush one of these in with the shallots as we're heating it up in the butter. And we'll do all that when we go back to the stove after our mushrooms are done soaking, the dried porcini. Got it? All right, just bear with me. Porcinis, they're ready to go. So I want you to come in here and see what they look like. See, they're all rehydrated from the hot boiling water. I'm going to have the camera follow us because we want to keep this liquid. Got it? And you're just going to strain them. Look at that. And reserve this liquid because this liquid's going to be used in our final risotto dish. And I'm going to put the rest of them on my counter here, and we're going to chop these up as fine as we can, okay? I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. And it's not really that hot to touch anymore. So, and you're just going to chop them up. There we go. Now when these are done, all of our prep work, chopping and soaking, it is done. And we get to the good part now, the actual making of the risotto. So when you're making this risotto, at least I find I'm not very organized, but when I make this risotto, I have to stay very organized You have to make sure that you know what you're doing before you start, because there are steps, not difficult steps, but definitely steps you need to follow. And when we get back over to the stove, and I actually start the fun part, you're going to see how I have all my ingredients laid out. You don't really have to be that organized, but I wanted you to see, because when you start adding stuff, you don't want to be scrambling around the kitchen looking for it. All right, and we're going to just put these in here so that they're all ready for us when we go to put them into our brazier pan. I like to use the brazier pan. It's a Le Creuset. I like it a lot for this. Yeah, those are our chopped porcini mushrooms. Time for the good part. We're going to get 2 pans going here. One is going to be the reserved mushroom liquid from our porcini. Just pour it into just the bottom. You don't want any little mushroom sediment getting in there. And 3 cups of a chicken stock. Oh, making a mess. All right, and we just want to keep that on a medium heat. We just want it to stay nice and warm. It'll absorb into the rice easier, a little bit better. We're going to take 2 tablespoons of butter, heat this up, and in here, when this gets a little sizzling, we're going to add our shallots and our garlic. All right, so this is going to be nice and warm, and we're going to start incorporating that in a minute. But right now, we're just going to get this all nice and heated up and saute those shallots. I wish that you could be here because it's going to be, oh, it smells so wonderful. But you can see what I mean about staying organized when making this. And another thing that I'm doing is anything that you probably haven't done individually, each of these items, chopping and measuring and preparing. We just got to get it all organized and put it all together, and then you'll have a great dish. So our butter's melting, starting to sizzle a little bit. We're going to put our shallots in there, and we're going to put 1 clove of fresh garlic. I prefer you use fresh always. If you have to use the little paste or jar, just don't let me know, because fresh garlic is so much better. See this? Starting to sizzle up a little bit. You're just going to saute these together for about 2 minutes. Oh, the smell's coming out of here. And this is a Le Creuset brazier pan. And I know other companies make it. I have had this for years. I love it. I use it for so many things, and risotto is one of my favorite things to use it for. So this is going to sizzle up a little bit. It's just going to soften everything up, the onions up, and then we're going to move on. And here, everything goes at a pretty good pace. All the prep work is done. Oh, can you smell it? Can you? It's so good. These are about ready. Now we're going to add our Boreo rice. I use an entire package. It's usually 12 ounces. We're just going to let that butter and garlic and shallot, and these are our dried porcinis, all chopped up. Just going to stir this to coat. Cook up a little bit. Not so difficult, right? Just a lot of stirring. And I would say, when I told my mother I was making this, she said, oh, it's so much work. And I said, what part of it do you think is so hard? She said, it's just the stirring. You got to pay attention to it. But I don't think it's that bad. I think that it goes by pretty quickly. Now we're going to add 1 bay leaf. It's going to come out at the end. Nobody chokes on it. And I always keep a bottle of very cheap, dry, like a Chardonnay white wine, right next to my stove. And I put one of these, it's about 1/4 cup, and I put one of these little nozzles on it, and whenever I make any gravies or sauces that call for white wine, there we go. We're ready to go. I like a little bit more. You can put in as much as you want. I think it gives it such a wonderful, wonderful taste. So, now I'm ready to start with the chicken stock and the porcini mushroom liquid. And you're just going to do this in batches, little at a time. And we're just going to stir until this liquid absorbs. We'll lower this heat a little bit. You should have a medium heat. Oh, it smells wonderful. Okay, see how it absorbs? Hope you can see that on film. I'm going to just add a little bit more. Just let this simmer. I lowered the heat a little bit, so it'll take a little longer for it to absorb into the rice. So medium heat is what you want. And we are going to continue to stir constantly, adding this stock in batches. And then at the end, we're going to add some really yummy things to it. We're going to saute those mushrooms that we chopped up earlier with some thyme and more butter and put it on top. I just put in the last of the chicken stock and porcini liquid into the risotto. This has been cooking for a good 20 minutes. I've been stirring and stirring non-stop, and we have just a few things left to do. First, we want to do is find this bay leaf, take it out. Then we're going to take about a cup of Parmesan, yum, everything's better with cheese, and a tablespoon of mascarpone. And we're going to mix this in to our risotto. Does this look beautiful? Just constantly stirring. While this is mixing in and finishing up, we're going to take 2 tablespoons of butter. There goes Gina again making a mess. Into our saucepan, because remember, these that we prepped, these are what go on top of the risotto. It's just our finish up. And we're going to take these thyme sprigs, and we're just going to do that. We're going to let these heat up, wilt down a little. I'm going to add a little salt. I'm going to add a little pepper. And over here, come back over here. I'm going to add the salt and pepper now into my risotto. If you want, you could add it to your chicken stock and porcini liquid. I just like to do it at the end. I'm just going to keep stirring. Look at that. Can you see that? So good. I'm so excited to eat this. Look at how gorgeous. See how creamy it is? It's like suspended in a liquid, but it's this creamy, thick, amazing sauce coating. I don't know what you call it. All I know is that I like it. Look at this. Oh, this is just beautiful. So I'm going to keep this warm. So at this point, this is done. Our risotto is done. So I'm going to turn off our heat, and I'm going to lid it. Not too exciting to see, I know. And we're just going to focus right here. Focus there. Just stir this around. Now before we pour this onto our risotto, we're going to take these sprigs out. But for now, we're going to just let them stay in there. See that? They just start to wilt down. And I know it looks like a lot. I'm walking around, I know. But it'll wilt down. I'm going to put a little olive oil on there because I'm Italian and everything goes better with olive oil. And if you combine olive oil and butter, then you really, really have got a flavor. Okay, easy, right? I salted and peppered these already. I'm going to put a little bit more salt on. And we're just going to saute these up until they reduce in size. Now is the part we've been waiting for, right? This is great. This is the unveiling. Come on in here. Susan, are you excited? Look at the risotto. Ta-da! Risotto. Porcini mushroom risotto. Yummy. And we are going to plate this. And I cannot wait to eat this. I have to thank you, Susan, for having me make this. This is hands down one of my favorite dishes ever. And if you know by now, there are a lot of favorite dishes of mine, but I gotta tell you, this just says, oh, nice fall day, and it's gorgeous. And it stays nice and warm. You can feed a lot of people with it as a main or a side dish. And wait till you see what we do with those other mushrooms that we sauteed up. Let's just spread this around a little. All right, I'm gonna get this big pot out of my way. It's a little heavy, so bear with me here. Okay. Oh, look at that. Yum. Let me move this, and then we're going to top it off with those mushrooms. Just stay right on that platter. Look at this. Those are our mushrooms, see? Now the thyme sprigs, gone. You don't really want to eat that. Look at this. Oh, absolutely delightful. Spread it all over. Now, if you want to plate this, you could just put a little risotto and then individually put the mushroom scoop on, but we like lots of mushrooms. We love risotto. We're going to get rid of this now. Now, because I love cheese, and we know I make cheese, we're going to add more cheese. Because everything is better with cheese. This is a shredded parm. You can get a finely grated one. I always like to top with fresh pepper. Maybe just because. Now you're to stay right there and watch this because I forgot something. And you can't forget your pretties. So you have people coming over and you want to present this dish. Look at how pretty is that? Put a few fresh thyme sprigs in there. However you'd like. So pretty. So what do you think? Susan, you gotta try this now. You're in the hot seat. You gotta. Look at how gorgeous. I'm gonna eat some now. I cannot wait. You can turn off the camera because I'm not talking anymore. I'm just gonna eat this. That is outstanding. It's a little al dente, exactly how it's supposed to be. It's full of flavor. Mascarpone, Parmesan, chicken stock. Oh my God, the mushrooms all mixes in just beautifully. Hi, I'm back. My iPad just decided to die and cut me off. That wasn't very nice of it, was it? Porcini risotto. Make it. It is so good. It's worth your time, your organization, your effort. I promise. So good. Fall, winter, perfect dish. Friends, family, whatever you want. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, subscribe. I don't know where the little button is. You do. I'm not looking at your computer. Subscribe.